Hello, welcome to my live. I've got 3 new transfers and some really cool frames to use tonight on my live. So we have the Eucalyptus transfer, I have the Fern, and the Philodendron. Wait a minute, is this the Philodendron? I don't know what that one was. Let me go back. Philodendron. There you go. Philodendron leaf, and I am making a triplicate thing here with some frames. These are called snap frames. So snap meaning that you can sandwich between 2 pieces of glass, either a photograph or a ticket stub or some kind of memento thing. I like it for the fact that you can chalk on one of the panes of glass and then protect it by putting it sandwiched between them and then hanging that on your wall. Now, this one comes pre-drilled with a little bracket and some screws in there. It's like a double thick bracket because with the 2 pieces of glass in there, it's extra heavy. I have just stumbled upon these and I love them. I got this one. I got the 3 of the 8x10 with the black colored frames. They come in cream colored frames, white, this, and then like a natural wood. I bought mine at Meijer and they were 20% off today. So I think they started off at like $5.99, and then with 20% off, it was $4 something. It was a really good deal that I could not pass up. Like, that's the best kind of sale to stumble upon when you're about ready to do something like a triplicate of some sort to put on your wall. Just, you know, even if they're not all the same size and all the same color. But that's what I'm doing. So I have 1 sheet of glass inside the frame of each of these that I'm going to move off to the side because I don't need those till the end. And I've got 1 piece of glass and the little black, this is like a frame that holds it in on top of the glass on the back, and then all the little twisty little lever thingies go over that. Now I'm using it to gauge about how much of the transfer is going to show through the glass, because that's going to be the tricky part, is moving that around. For example, let me show you. So I have this Philodendron. So I can move the glass around till I got it exactly where I want it in my glass. And this is going to help me kind of square that off. Does that make sense? And that will be what I do. The other thing I'm going to be doing quite a bit of tonight is mixing colors to get the right colors of the leaves. Now, what I like to do when I'm working with some kind of organic transfer subject area is I like to look up real images online that I can pull the colors from, and then take what resources I have with colors of chalk paste and mix the right color for that. Does that make sense? All right, so let me scoot you in closer and we will go ahead and get started with this. Okay, maybe just a smidge out further. All right, so let me explain the Philodendron. So it's got some bright green in it. So I have this color. Okay, so I have some green envy and some parakeet. I also have kiwi, These are my 3 greens right now, as well as eucalyptus. Now, if I want to add a little kiwi and a little parakeet and a little green envy and then kind of like blend them together in the leaf, making the outer edges of the leaves a little bit darker. But this isn't quite as dark as the philodendron leaf is. And it's not as dull as eucalyptus. So the eucalyptus I'm putting back. So how can I get my green envy to have a little bit more blue in it, but still hold that bright green in there? So I can either pull a blue, and I don't want it to be crazy or anything. So I have Cadet and I have Liberty. So I could add a little bit of that, or I could add a little bit of a blue-green to the green and see if that would be enough. So we're going to do a little bit of experimenting with colors to get the right thing. Now, if I need to dull a color down, if I need to lighten it, instead of white, I could add a little bit of my almond. I could also tone it down with a little bit of Storm. And if I need to darken it, then I can add some black velvet to it. So this is color mixing 101 for this. So let's go ahead. We're going to remove this, get our glass panel underneath here. I know that's going to be tricky for you to see, but I'm going to line it up on my graph here, and then let me get my fuzz cloth. Always when working with glass, it's great to take your fuzz cloth on the microfiber side and just do a real quick dusting so there's no particles on there. Then we are ready to fuzz this transfer and then place it on the glass. And this is on the terry cloth side of our fuzz cloth, because it's a brand new transfer. We got to get a little fuzz on it. Okay, so now let's look at wondering if we should pull this glass up and maybe hold that frame underneath, because that will help us lay that transfer out to where it's going to show up when it's in the frame. So very carefully lining my glass up inside here. Okay, now being able to see through a little bit my transfer, I can put it down. Let me fold it a little. Put it down where it's going to show on this glass. That's pretty good, I think. Okay. All right, glass is extra, extra sticky. So I can see the frame of where my glass is right here, and the tops and bottom right here. So I think that's pretty good. So now I am going to use a saucer to mix some of the color that I want for this. So let's see here. I definitely said that I wanted to get some of, I'm using up the rest of this parakeet green. It is now a retired color, but it's going to look great on my philodendron. Okay, so I got that one. That's kind of our middle. All right, I also have, what color is this one? Oh no, that was green envy, I'm sorry. Parakeet is this lighter color. Okay. And then I also have kiwi. Okay. And that needs a little bit of water. And that'll be great on the kind of the stem towards the middle. That's kind of like where that lighter color comes, and then up at the beginning of the leaf. All right, now if I need more of these, I suppose I could leave my lids off because I might be going back and forth here. All right, now the issue is I wanted to get a little bit of a bluer green using some of this color for a darker area. So it's kind of like a fourth color to kind of blend with them. So let's get some green envy over here, and we'll add some kind of like a bluish green to it. That sounds good to you. All right, and I think that this peacock color will be the right kind of blue-green to add. So what I'm doing here is darkening up this green envy to a darker green by adding peacock to it. It's going to get a little bluer and darker. See how that did that? It's like mixing paint on a paint palette together. All right, so you can definitely see the change here. Adding that blue, that really darkened that up. See the difference side by side? All right, so that'll be the outer edges of my leaves. And I might need a little smidge more than what I have. Let me get a little bit more of each. I love that color. That looks really good. When I get my new green colors that I'm ordering, we have a whole bunch of green ones that are really cool. Cool colors. And that will be really cool to have a lot of those other ones to mix. All right, that looks good for my outer edges of my leaves. Okay, so there we go. Let's move this to the side, and we can go ahead and start laying out with our squeegee, our colors. And I can move you a little closer. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with kiwi. And that's going to go down kind of like the spine of the plant leaf, because that's where it is lightest. Okay. Then we're going to take our parakeet and kind of put it through there. Then regular green envy. And then lastly, this concoction of green envy and parakeet, or I mean green envy and peacock. Is that what it was? The blue-green color. And that should be it. Now I'm going to take a bigger squeegee, and just kind of pull that out from the center out. It is a lot. Okay, and just make sure you're getting all the way out to the edge, and then the excess I can put on this plate. Keep going. And then I'm going to wet my fingers here and do a little bit of like a rub down the leaf to kind of blend on both sides, kind of mixing and blending those colors together. That's good. And then a little bit of that darker color, I'm going to come back this way with it. That blue-green color that we mixed. Okay, now we're going to peel that. Let me get my glass lined back up here again. Okay, glass is tricky to peel. So 90 degrees, the best we can here. There we go. In the water that one goes. All right, now a couple spots on here that have a little bit of blur. So let me get a cotton swab in here. Anywhere where there's a little blur. Sometimes that happens with watery area. Sometimes, which I did wet my finger and go across it. I might have got too much water on my finger. And that caused that to a little bit smudge. So I'm just touching up that area. So this is a split leaf rhododendron, philodendron. I don't know why I keep calling it a rhododendron. I don't even know what a rhododendron is. But this is a split leaf one, and they have one that's kind of like a little bit more together. So looking up this picture so that I was sure I was doing the right coloring, that helped to look at that first. That way I get the right color. It seems like in the middle here I got a little bit of like a soupy, wet but it's starting to dry out really good down here. So I'm just kind of watching this, and if the wet part keeps bleeding through, I'll keep touching it up until we're good here. Let me get my dryer out. A little bit of sound here. I love, love, love mixing these chalk pastes to make these pretty colors. Love it. Now last minute touch-ups where that really wet spot was, just to make sure we're good. Make sure the glass and everything is ready to go so I can put the frame back together. So far it looks pretty good. I mean, obviously taking a philodendron leaf and sandwiching the real thing between glass is really cool, but I love this because this is a play on actually doing that. All right, so I'm going to let this glass panel dry a little more and then do my last minute touching up on it before, because it looks like I need to just a little bit get some spots on the glass now that I've a little bit smudged up. So I definitely want touching this up with glass cleaner, because I definitely don't want my finger smudges then put between the frame when I'm all done. Hi, Mom. Okay, so let me move that one to the side, and we're going to work on the next one, which is a fern leaf. And we're going to mix some of that together and do a fern. So let me move this one to the side. We'll show it again at the end. All right, so next, let me set my little wooden bracket thingy down and my glass. Okay, so we are going to get the fuzz cloth back out and just kind of lint wipe our glass. And now with our fuzz cloth, I can peel this fern off of its backing. Get a little bit of lint on it. All right, now let's try to get this fern on here as much as we can possibly show within the glass so that it'll show in the frame. So I think if I get it way up towards the top, I feel like it can go up a little bit more than that. I want the whole fern leaf to show, but I know that it's going to be tricky to do. So maybe somewhere there's about what I have to do. It's going to get most of it, but it's probably not going to get it all. Just making sure now that I don't have any wrinkles or bubbles. So smoothing this down the best I can because this will be my only chance to do that. Okay, so looking at realistic fern leaves, I found they're a little bit brighter, more bright green than the other transfer that I just did with the Philodendron. So I definitely want a little bit more of kiwi, which is our lighter, brighter, like a yellow green. So I want that definitely in places, but it's not going to be like an even thing. We're just going to like kind of go down each branch and toss that in there in a couple spots. And then we're going to go with a mixture of the green we had mixed for the Philodendron, and then we're going to kind of do a mix of it. So from the plate that I was using, I'm just going to spread this green in the middle and on the edges. And then we can just do like a swirl of the colors. That way it'll look a little bit more naturally variegated in the leaves and branches. I have enough here to pull out. And then I can take some of the green envy and we're going to just kind of pull the color from the edge. I can add it to my plate and then do that across this edge here too. And then we are ready to scrape. So now we're just gonna get all the excess off. Before we peel. All right, now my fingers got really super chalky. We wipe those off before we peel to reveal what this fern is going to look like. And I really hope it turned out. This was totally an experiment. Okay. Almost there. Whew. All right. Now, got some on my frame, a little bit on the glass right here. Or is that under? I think that's under the glass. Okay. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and hit this with the blow dryer. I really, really love the way this turned out. It gave it like a highlight. The kiwi, brighter yellow-green color, gave the leaves a highlight like the sun is reflecting off of it. I will give you a close-up shot so you can see what I'm seeing, because I know there's a lot of reflection. Can you see that? Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. I love it. I cannot wait for these to be on my wall in my living room, just to have a little bit of nature on the inside. Since I can't really keep house plants alive because I like kill everything somehow, this is like my house plants now. All right, so that's our second one. Let's go ahead and move the fern off to the side. And the next one we're working on, ooh, sorry about that, bumped the our whole setup here. So the next one we're working on is a eucalyptus. And it's going to be a little bit different because it is a lighter, like a lighter, a little bit faded blue-green color. And I actually have eucalyptus as a chalk color, but I'm not going to use it straight out of the jar because apparently in the plant world, there's more than one kind of eucalyptus. And the one that this one was made out of is not the traditional flower arrangement eucalyptus that you see people using. This one's a little different. So I'll explain as I'm getting it ready to put on our glass here. Now I think this one will almost completely be on the glass. Just the bottom of the stem is going to be off. That looks good, actually. Okay, so this eucalyptus, it has these little puffy, they're kind of like a almond colored bud on it, and the leaves are not the traditional smaller leaf. They're longer, and this one, actually have it pulled up on a tab here on Google. It is called, well, it's definitely an ornamental tree, but it's called Eucalyptus passiflora something. It's an ornamental tree. It's actually like a British, it's in the UK, and it has, so this is the eucalyptus that I have, chalk paste color, but this is actually only like the underside of the leaf. The top of the leaf, which is what we're seeing here, is darker than this. So my dilemma is I've gotta do something darker, and then our stem here I can do in brown. So this is going to be a multi-step transfer, like a lot of my transfers are. So I'm going to do the bloom little fuzzies and the branches, and then kind of peel it off to the side, let those dry, and then put it back down to do the leaves. And that way I can do all the steps. All right, so I'm going to rinse out my rag here in case I need it. All right. Okay, so set that aside. I've got bark for the branch. So, all right, so I'm going to lay in branch colors here. I could use washi tape here or placement tape just to keep my areas clean from going into the wrong area. But I trust myself to do a nice job. That's pretty good for stem. Okay, now this almond colored bloom, very pretty. Let me get one of my skinnier squeegees out for this. Okay, that completes that part. Now, if we just peel back our transfer, not completely off, we're just pulling it to the side to let these colors dry. So I'm going to hit this with my dryer on cool setting. So once I think that's good and dry, I'll put that back down. Give it a couple seconds in the air here. Give me a chance to catch up my colors. So once that's completely set, we're going to move on to making the colors for the eucalyptus leaf. And I think because eucalyptus is our paste color, it's on the same, what I would call the same family as a blue-green. I think adding blue-green a little bit, not a lot, because it is a dark color. All right, we can go ahead and lay this back down. It's not going to affect anything. And just smooth down the leaf areas so it's down for that part. We just want it sealed in the leaf area now. It can lay loose on the branch and the bloom area. Okay, the glass is sliding. Okay. All right, so I would call this in the blue-green family. And I don't know if you can tell, pre-stirring, you can tell in this chalk paste, like right there, that it is a little bit of a blue-green color. So I'm going to stir this and make sure I've got the right consistency before we start. You want it to be like yogurt or sour cream. No thinner, no thicker. That's pretty good. Okay, and then the lightest blue-green that I have that I could add is this. It is Couture Teal. And then I had that peacock color, which is, where's my lid? Peacock color. And that is a definite darker blue-green. Lots more blue in it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go about this with kind of a mixture of the three. Okay, so I'm going to put this actually on the transfer, not the screen, in a couple areas so that I can kind of mix and then pull it onto the leaf area. Does that make sense? That way I don't have, and I'm going to use a lot more of the eucalyptus than the peacock. That way we're good. And then we have a little bit of this teal. We don't need as much of it. Okay. All right, let's try this now. All right, so we're going to kind of swirl and then pull that into the leaf. Swirl. Pull that in. Might not need as much as I thought I would. It's really pretty. Really pretty with the blue tint to it. That's going a lot farther than I thought, so I'm just going to pull it over here. It's definitely a darker color than we started with, but I like the blue color that we pulled in. Now, let me grab up my little piles of eucalyptus, because that's a good highlight color to put over. Okay, we are really thick on here now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and scrape some of this color off onto a white bee. Because it's smoothing it out. Oops, coming off my base here. Okay, I think that's good. Oops. All right, now we are going to peel to reveal. Make sure my hands are nice and cleaned off here so I don't smear my glass. Okay, I think I'm ready. I think. All right, coming straight up, 90 degrees, holding the glass down with one hand. Oops, we are getting close here. There we go. Wow, that turned out really good. Now, some of my buds have a little bit of that blue-green on it, and I don't think I want that. Let me see if I can. I don't want to ruin it. I want to see if that'll come off a little. Before it dries is when you can fix. I might have to just wash my transfer and go over those where the blue-green came, but the rest of this I think looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and put these chalk paste lids on and then pull all 3 images over for us to look at. I make a huge mess when I'm chalking. Luckily, I have my water pan right here beside me so that I can toss everything in the water bucket. And boy, do disinfectant wipes come in handy doing these projects. It's unbelievable how much you use. Okay, slide that glass back on there. All right, let's get this one over, all the way over. Okay, we'll grab our fern. Oof. And then our philodendron. I mean our, I can never say that word. Philodendron. That's what I mean. Okay, now I'm going to have to zoom up here. Is that easier to see? Okay, there are our 3 finished leaves. So all I need to do is do a little bit of finger smudge touching up, and then I'm going to put these in a frame and I will take pictures and post my finished product here shortly. So there you have it. Not too bad. That was fun. I love these frames. Love, love, love them. As soon as they restock at Meijer, I think I'm going to get some different sizes so that I can do some other projects. But that was a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. If you are not somebody who has friends and family who are on Facebook, I'm also on YouTube, and my channel is Beth's Classy Chalking, just like the Facebook group. And if you would like to be a future customer, my customers have access to my VIP group, and so you would definitely want to be in that group too, because I post bundles and specials and sales in there and all my party information. So if you want to be in my VIP group, just comment, add me, and I will put you in the VIP group or send you an invite. And that's it. Just love this and share it with your friends. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great night. Bye now.